Tuesday, November 11, 2025, Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike had an unscheduled visit to Plot 1946 in Gaduwa District, Abuja, after receiving reports that work was ongoing on a parcel of land that his office had earlier designated a buffer and had not approved for development. Wike's team, which included officers from the FCT Development Control Unit, the FCT Commissioner of Police, MerezeMedia, and security personnel from the Department of State Services DSS, had been sent to enforce a stop work order. According to the FCTA, the site had been marked as a buffer and therefore was not cleared for construction. On arrival, the minister and his entourage were confronted by a group of about a dozen armed naval officers guarding the site. The officers, led in video footage by Lieutenant A.M. Yarima, sometimes reported as Ahmad M. Yarima, blocked access, reportedly parking a vehicle across the entry, and refused to allow the FCTA officials onto the property. The parcel is alleged to be linked to former Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awwal Zubairu Gambo RETD. Tensions escalated quickly into a heated verbal exchange between Minister Wike and Lieutenant Yarima. Wike insisted the development was illegal, demanded to see any proof of title, and ordered that work cease immediately. The naval officer repeatedly asserted he was acting on orders and insisted the land had been legally acquired. Video of the confrontation, widely shared on social media, captures the blunt back and forth between the two men. At several points the verbal clash nearly turned physical. Wike's security aides and the soldiers became involved in a scuffle as the two sides jostled. Police and DSS officials accompanying the minister intervened and sought to control the situation, but the confrontation continued until the parties were separated. News reports described the scene as chaotic and charged. Direct quotations from the exchange that were captured on video reflect the sharpness of the confrontation. Wike repeatedly told the naval officer that the development would not be allowed to proceed and challenged the soldiers' presence on the site. The naval officer replied that he was following orders and asserted his status as a commissioned officer. At one point Wike warned, "You will put yourself in trouble." Wike said to the officer, "Will you keep quiet? Are you a big fool?" While the officer responded, "I am not a fool, sir. I am acting on orders." After the incident, Wike's camp accused the ex-naval chief of attempting to use military force to protect an allegedly illegal encroachment. Yarima, a senior special assistant Wike, later told broadcasters that the former naval chief had been scammed in a land transaction and resorted to using armed men instead of pursuing legal remedies. The ex-naval chief's representatives, and some of the naval officers on site, have maintained that title documents exist and that acquisitions were lawful. The episode has generated intense public attention. The naval officer who confronted the minister became widely recognized after the footage went viral, and legal and institutional questions have been raised about the use of military personnel in land disputes and about the proper process for resolving competing claims to land in the FCT. Several media outlets report that authorities are reviewing the matter and that the FCT administration may pursue formal legal steps to clarify ownership and compliance with planning regulations.
Okay, can I tell something?
So, my name is request to enlighten you. So, there is no such thing as a former vice admiral.
Okay, thank you very much. He's not an officer now. He's not serving. Even if he's serving in government, this government property. Show me the document you have. You have no document.
So, what documents?
Bring the document.
I have documents and everything.
Excuse me. I'm the minister. Yes, you cannot tell me. You cannot tell me that. We cannot continue to act in this impunity. Where the approval leading to abuse. You cannot continue this way. This country cannot continue along this line. How can that man at his level, even if he has a problem, he cannot reach me and say, "Look, I'm sorry. See what I have." He will send soldiers to intimidate you. We are all from this country. And this is government. You cannot be higher than any government. You cannot be carrying gun to intimidate people to not to do their work. Let me tell you, if not going to achieve my first staff, who spoke to me now, you could have killed everybody here. No problem. I'm not one of those that they can intimidate. I'm doing my job.
We are not intimidating anybody. The civilian, the engineer mobilized to site, and then staff or workers of FCT look at the to intimidate them.
No, listen now. That is the only them. He cannot give order against government.
Because the papers are complete and he said that some.
Are you the one? Listen, you know the problem you have. Are you the one that will say, paper? Show me that you are one. First of all, show me that government gave you this place. Two, show me that you have an approval to build what you are building. It has nothing to do with I'm a vice admiral, I'm a lieutenant general. That is not it. We must work according to law. We must work according to law.
We forwarded everything to me.
And to who? To who? No,
you're not just like this. It's not just like this. Don't you try it. I told you like that. Sir, everything was acquired legally. And so you get the.
Will you stop that?
Sir, I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, your mouth,
I will not shut up.
Will you get out?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir,
I was in school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut me up.
Will you keep quiet?
You can't shut me up, sir. I'm not a fool, sir. I'm not a fool. I am not a fool, sir.
As at the time I graduated, you were primary school.
I'm acting on order.
For which order?
You
see what else is wrong with you?
Sir, you can't call me a fool. I'm not a fool, sir.
You are killing everybody here.
No, we are not killing anybody. We won't kill anybody. We are acting on orders. Just to come and debate.
Stop this here. Don't stop this.
How do I person? How do I person? This is not professional. It's not professional. Please. You can't even say the minister of this thing. It's okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
matter. I'm an officer. I take to orders.
So what? You had a who?
I'm an officer. I take to orders.
To order that you take you
Star General.
Okay. You can never develop this property. I will not allow it.
No problem, sir.
I'm
only acting on my orders.
If you want to kill everybody, kill everybody.
We will not kill
you
anybody.
Cannot.
Sir. We will not. We will not kill anybody, sir.
You put yourself in trouble.
not.
My friend, you see, don't officer. You cannot shut me up.
You cannot shut me up. You're my senior. You cannot even talk when I'm talking. Because I'm have to reach you. You're not talking that way. I've been talking and talking.
Nobody does that.
We did not carry anybody.
The man took the Arab, we will not Arab going for the Chief of Naval Staff, and then you to carry land.
Sir, everything was acquired legally.
Will you stop that?
Will
you stop that?
Sir, I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up your mouth, you
I will not shut up.
Will get out?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir,
I was in school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
me up. Will you keep quiet?
You can't shut me up, sir. I'm not a fool, sir. I'm not a fool, sir. I am not a fool, sir.
As at the time I graduated, you were primary school.
I'm acting on orders.
Which order? You see whether you will not be here.
Sir, you can't call me a fool. I'm an officer. I'm not a fool, sir. I'm an officer.
You will kill everybody here.
No, we won't kill anybody. We won't kill anybody. We are acting on orders.
Go and develop your let me see you.
Regular officer, you want to come and interrogate?
We are going to now get out. You are aware that the land departments and the development control have been mandated to see where there are illegal development going on and land grabbing. And when this was brought to my attention, I did instruct them to make sure that nothing takes place in as much as they did not have any legal paper in terms of building approval or even the acquisition of the land. And when they came here, I was informed that the soldier of the military had to chase them away. And I thought probably they will be acting illegally. And so today, while I was in the office, while they came to implement the directive that was given to them by myself, I was called that the military have taken over the place. And I have to come by myself to see things for myself. It's really unfortunate. And you heard what the officer said was sent by the former Chief of Naval Staff. And I don't understand how somebody who attained that position and see that he has a problem cannot approach my office to say, look, this is what is going on, this is what is going on. But simply because he's a military man, he could use that to intimidate Nigerians. I'm not one of those kind of persons that will succumb to blackmail or intimidation. And you can imagine where you cannot even prove where are the documents. And the director of development control is there. I said, look, I was there. I said, bring the documents. You don't have the documents. Bring the approval for building. You don't have it. And how can we continue to allow lawlessness to prevail in this country? What about those who don't have the military? What about those who don't have security? It has gotten to a level where when government officials are carrying out their job, you go and bring security to intimidate them against government officials. I will not accept that. I've spoken to the Chief of Defense Staff and I've spoken to the Chief of Naval Staff, and they have assured me that please, they have to resolve the matter. And we're not coming here to have a shooter with anybody to cause chaos or not. But what I can say, I would not allow it to happen. The way we have done, carried our jobs in other areas, in the same way it will be done here. He will not carry out this illegal development and land grab simply because he was a former Chief of Naval Staff. I would not allow that. And that's the situation where we are.